All right, today's guest is a friend of mine who went from never swimming a complete lap in the pool to now completing 3 Ironmans. We met about a year ago when I was doing the David Goggins 4x4x48 challenge. Came out, ran a leg with me with another mutual friend from Montana. I got to mile 48 at the end, and he had the wild idea. We're already at 48. Why don't you just go to 50 and do another 2 miles? So we did that, and then right after we crossed 50, me and him ended up signing up for a marathon that was about 6 weeks away. Neither of us were big runners. And I mean, from this point on, I knew that this was somebody that had the same mindset as me and that I wanted to surround myself with. So we're going to dive into kind of the mindset, the self-belief and whatnot that led him from never having swam full lap in a pool, like I said, to now just this last weekend finishing his third Ironman 70.3. So Justin Medlin, how we doing today?
Doing amazing. How about yourself? Thanks for having me on.
Of course. So first off, let's get a little bit of a background. Like as in your childhood, growing up in Montana, were sports a super big thing for you? Or where did athletics play a role in your life?
Yeah, I played baseball most of my childhood life. Football when I was younger. Didn't play high school football. That conflicted with baseball, but other than that, yeah, I definitely grew up playing sports.
And would you say you always had a pretty good amount of self belief, or is that something that maybe came over time as you had more experience in life, you got older, or was that something that you pretty much always thought like if trying something new that you'd be able to complete it or get it done no matter what?
That's a good question. Personally for me, I think it's definitely something that's built. On a very, very structural level, I definitely think my dad had an influence on that. But after that, I definitely think it's something that built, just being very willing to fail, try things.
So I guess let's dive into the specifics now revolving around the Ironman. So obviously when I met you, you weren't a big runner. The only thing you'd done that before that was a half marathon. Was that correct?
Yep.
So going from a half marathon to, I guess, first off, in 6 weeks, doing a full marathon with only a little bit of training there. Going into that, did you have 100% confidence that you could complete the full marathon?
I think that's a double-sided question. I had no idea if I could do it, but I was very much so willing to do it. But I
So,
think that goes hand in hand with everything.
so would you say going up to it, did you have any sense that maybe you wouldn't finish?
Yeah, most definitely. I wasn't really too sure at all that I would finish. Given the time frame that it was in, if I had longer time to train and an actual plan, I'm sure I would have been much more confident in my ability to finish. But I think I'm just very willing to fail.
How do
And
you think that translated, or where was the increase in self belief? I guess after like finishing the half marathon, did you say that kind of increased your levels of self belief going into the next big challenge? Which I mean, running like from a half marathon to a full marathon, like it's the same thing, but it's just twice as long versus now getting into a half Ironman. Like that's a completely new territory. So how would you compare maybe like the feelings or kind of emotions that you had before the marathon, like lining up at the start line of the day of that, compared to then lining up at the start line for the half Ironman, where that was like a completely new endeavor, new environment that you'd never been in before? How would you say that those two kind of situations compared as far as the feeling of what you were going to experience and whether or not you'd fail or not?
no, I think that's a really good question. I've never really looked at it from that aspect. I'd say with the marathon, I I was pretty sure I'd finish. You can walk if you need to. I had no idea how long it would take me, and I had a much better time than expected, so that made me happy. As far as the half Ironman, I had no idea if I'd finish. I honestly, there's a big part of me that didn't think I would finish. But I think it's just the willingness to. put myself out there and be so willing to fail. I mean, my mindset was okay, like if I don't make the swim, like I'll sign up for the next one.
Where do you think the willingness to fail came from? Like, would you say you were always willing to fail at things, whether that was in business, in at physical endeavors, or whatever? Did you always have that willingness to fail or to attempt something, even if failure was an option, or was there a certain kind of event or moment in time when that wouldn't necessarily clicked, but it started to become more prevalent and something that you started to lean into a little bit more?
I mean, I don't think there was a specific catalyst, but I think it's more so a bunch of very small building blocks and very small failures that people don't see as failures or that might not even feel like failures. But I mean, just being very willing to try something, having no idea if I can do it, but it's just the willingness. I mean, and I think everybody is so much more capable than they believe, but they're also a lot of people are like very hesitant to just try things.
For sure. I mean, we've definitely seen that just talking to friends and other people that we've tried to get to do, whether it was a half marathon or a half Ironman. But what would you say now? You said there's a lot of little failures that kind of led to that overall willingness to kind of lean into failure. Is there a sort of system or process or even like thought process that after you go through something and maybe you do fail the first time at it, how do you take something away from that failure so that you can keep moving forward, try it again, and improve the result or succeed that next time? Like, do you have a very conscious kind of pattern or thought process you usually use post failure?
Not necessarily. I think it would be more so my view of failure and what that means. I mean, I don't think failure is a bad thing. I think failure is a hack to learning, and I think it just you can learn at crazy fast speeds if you're willing to fail. I mean, everybody has a different definition of quote unquote fail. I mean, I think just say we set the word fail aside and just look at it as like try something. Like there's just trying things, whether it's small or big, or being willing to be shut down or willing to fail at something. I mean, we're going to actually fail at that so much less of the time compared to when we think we are.
So
But I
it's
mean,
if you're telling somebody just to try something and they give you the response, well, I mean, I feel like a lot of guys don't straight up say it, but in their head they're thinking, well, what if I fail? Like, how do you get them past that point, or how did you get yourself past that point initially? Because I mean, we all ask ourselves that question before, for sure.
yeah, that's a really good question. I'd say it's just more so an opportunity to learn. Like it's not really like we keep using this word fail, but like what is even failing? Like it's just attempting. Like and people don't sit there and remember and think about all the failures. They think about, oh man, remember that time I had no idea how to swim and I signed up for a half Ironman? I mean, that's what you remember.
For sure. Do you think that then self belief does not exist without failure? Do you have to have failure as a prerequisite to having that self belief and confidence in yourself? Or, like we talked about, switching out the wording for that, do you need to go through multiple sequences of that learning process before you can actually have self belief that carries into other areas of your life and other experiences where you've never had any sort of experience previously?
I mean, in some aspects, I don't know what I don't know, but I mean, in my personal opinion, I would say like it's definitely like the quick route to self-belief. I mean, like a percentage of how often something works out. I mean, if somebody tries something so much more than the latter or somebody right next to them, I mean, they're gonna succeed way more often than the person who isn't trying at all. Yeah, the person who isn't trying at all, they might fail less, but they're not gonna do anything. I mean,
For sure. I mean, just like that old saying of like, or the analogy, I guess, of like taking shots at in a basketball hoop. Like the guy who's sitting there taking countless shots is going to make far more than the guy who doesn't ever shoot the ball. What is the main sort of driver, or I guess reason you think that keeps people from taking action in doing something new that might lead to them failing? Like, is it simply the fear of failure, or is there something more deeper, kind of underrooted in that, or is it like a lack of support, lack of people around them that kind of show them that they can do it? Like, I think the whole concept behind like the 4 minute mile, I think this is a super good kind of analogy for this, or not really analogy, but nobody had ever ran a 4 minute mile before. Everybody thought it was impossible. And the second one guy ran the 4 minute mile, I don't remember exactly what his name was. In that subsequent year, there were like 5 other people to go out and do the same thing. And now there's been hundreds of people that have ran, probably thousands of people that have ran a 4 minute mile now. So do you think kind of breaking that barrier between seeing somebody else do something that's like within your close proximity is what people need to go do and try something new? Or is it more so they need to just shift their perspective between seeing failure as a bad thing and just wanting to learn more and grow more as a person or as a man?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I think it's like what drives me at least is like curiosity. And I think a lot of people like lack like fundamental curiosity, like what their potential is, what they can do, what they can succeed at if they actually tried. But then also I think what stops a lot of people is also fear of failure. I mean, I think it's a, but again, it goes back to like the view of what failure actually is. And I mean, it's just a perspective shift. I mean, like you could say, okay, I'm gonna ask this girl out. Say she says no, oh my gosh, how am I gonna feel about myself? Or like say she says no, thank you, like good. Like move on. Like go to the next opportunity. Like you want to start a business venture, like start it. If it doesn't work, good. It wasn't meant to be. Try the next thing.
It's almost like it gives you like every no you get, or every time you don't succeed at something, it gives you more clarity on what you do want or what you do need to do. Overall, evolving that learning process. So let's jump back to the Ironman, because I really want to walk through that. So had about 10 weeks of training or so. You've probably been swimming in a pool up to the first one. What do you say? Six or 7 days in the pool training, swimming in your entire life before your first half Ironman.
Yeah, about that. I mean, and then I got hurt hiking. I mean, I had month and a half out. So I mean, yeah, I would say like 6 or 7 swims before my first half Ironman. But I mean, I like I said before, like I had no idea if I was gonna finish it or not. But I was very willing to. I was excited for it. But I
So what was
mean,
going through your mind when you were lining up on the beach in Coeur d'Alene, about to get into the water for the first time? Were you still at that point like standing on the beach after training, getting a little bit better at swimming? Like where was your mind at before getting in the water for that first half Ironman?
I mean, I had no idea what to expect. I was scared shitless, and I just kept telling myself not to quit. And I'm glad I didn't quit. I thought about quitting probably 30 times. Like, oh, you can just stop right now and somebody can get you, take you out of the water. But I mean, then after I was out of the water, I felt like $1 million. I was like, wow, that was so much easier than I expected. I wouldn't say easier, I mean, because I still had almost no idea how to swim at that point in time. But
For sure.
I mean, I think yeah, I was scared shitless, but at the same time, very willing to try.
And for the people that don't know, we got a little bit lucky on this first one because of the weather. They ended up shortening the swim, so we only did about a third of the distance of what the swim was. So you could call that getting saved or helped out a little bit. But nonetheless, you got through the first Ironman. Going into the second one now, you've had a lot more training. You've already been through the whole experience of it once on the beach. on Ironman 70.3, number 2. Where's your head at this time compared to the last time? Granted, this time you got the full 1.2 mile swim versus last time you only had about a third of that.
I mean, I was still scared shitless because I definitely avoided this swimming part of training. I mean, if I'm being totally direct too, I probably thought about quitting at least 10 times in the middle of that race, but I just didn't let myself quit. And I think and again, once I was out of the water, I was like, what? Like, I think we just create things to be so much more difficult. There's so much more, we give things so much more negative meaning in our head than they are, like, than they actually have or that they deserve.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's like our mind or our subconscious trying to keep us safe when we're really like, we're safe. Like, we don't have animals hunting us. Like, we don't, I mean, we're very safe. I think it's just a protective mechanism that's built into us.
Do you think the way around that? I know personally, like what I would do is like just ask myself, like, what's the worst that can happen? Is that the sort of same framework that you went through mentally during this, or because you said you thought about quitting multiple times, or what was it on a deeper level that made you just continue to push on and not quit regardless, having that thought in the back of your head that you could quit at any point?
That's a good question. I mean, I think as you asked that, I haven't really thought about that either, but I would say just like getting out of my head and doing the doing. Like, okay, you can sit there and think about quitting, or you can swim. I mean, there's two options. And every time I would fall into that mindset, I'd be like, okay, just start swimming. Like, go another 300 meters. See how far you can make it. Rather than I could have sat there and made every excuse in the world.
So then we get done with that swim, and I didn't compete in this one, but I was there watching it, and you were cutting it pretty damn close towards the end on the swim. I was getting worried because there is a cutoff time there, but nonetheless, we got that swim done, and then moving on to this last weekend here, Ironman number 3 for you, except this one's in the ocean. On your third one now, at this point, like, do you have like 100% confidence in yourself that you're gonna complete the swim and get this done, or is there's still a little bit of hesitancy or doubt in the back of your mind still on number 3 for you?
Um, Definitely wasn't fully confident in it. There was definitely some hesitancy. I mean, but that only lasted about 5 minutes. But I think that hesitancy came from like all the past experiences. Like I'd never gotten into water at the beginning of an Ironman and was very comfortable doing it. Like I was scared shitless every time. And so I think like that kind of rolled over into this. But then 5 minutes after, I mean, I maybe like I briefly thought about quitting, and I was like, no, like just go. And then after that, I'm like, next thing you know, I'm halfway done with the swim, feeling amazing. I'm like, wow, it's just a head game. Like it's just me versus me. And
I
did
Yeah, I think definitely a different scale, but I think I talked about this similar thing on my story today, just about like as simple as is getting up in the morning. It's like when your alarm goes off and it's early, like you'd rather lay in bed and it's a little bit uncomfortable for that first 5 minutes, but it's like once you just do the damn thing and like push through and get up and get going, everything's a whole lot easier. And I feel like the avoidance of uncomfortable situations by so many people, and I mean, like you said earlier, is like we make it to be so much worse than it is. Where I think it was Layla Hermosi like talks about, we see it as this huge ocean we have to cross, but then the second we get started and like take that first step, we realize it's a 6-inch deep puddle. So do you think that, or would you say that fitness and like doing a lot of these, like there's people that whatever they call us crazy for doing 30 miles in the middle of the night or a half Ironman with very little training. How does doing some of these more intense physical bouts or whatever we want to call them play a role in other areas of your life where it's like a lot of people I feel like don't see the meaning or the reasoning behind like voluntarily putting yourself through any sort of physical discomfort or suffering. But where would you say that kind of shows out and plays through in other areas of your life, whether that's business or other relationships, that voluntarily on a regular basis putting yourself through that physical discomfort gives you a lot of value?
I mean, we're gonna have hard times regardless, whether it's a hard time that we know we're getting ourselves into or it's a tragedy that's totally unexpected. And I think it just makes us, I mean, personal experience at least, like just makes me so much better at navigating those hard times that are unexpected and the emotional intelligence that comes with it and how much you learn about yourself by willingly do hard things.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I mean, I've definitely grown a lot through putting myself in very uncomfortable situations. I feel like when you get too comfortable in any area of life, you just start to become stagnant and then kind of lose any sort of purpose and in drive. I feel like it's sort of a muscle that needs to be flexed. Like you need to consistently put yourself in those uncomfortable situations in order to constantly evolve. What is one piece of advice now you give to somebody who wants to start chasing goals, but they just don't feel like they're ready? Or maybe, like we talked about in the beginning, they have a fear of failure or a fear of not being enough or some sort of deeper rooted fear that is keeping them from doing something that either they want to do, but they don't necessarily think they should do, or they think that they need way more training and 6 months of more preparation before they're ready. I mean, you just talked about 3 different Ironmans that you completed, and on the starting line for every single one, a little bit uncomfortable, not 100% confident you're going to be able to complete it or get it done. What would be that one piece of advice that you'd give to somebody that kind of needs that last little push over the edge? Because I mean, we've got multiple friends now and even random people that we met to go sign up for half Ironmans that they didn't necessarily feel ready or feel like the situation or the timeline was perfect, but they did it, they got it done, and then they grew a lot in that process. So what's that one piece of advice that maybe you yourself needed that very first time you started kind of breaking through and starting to have a lot of wins and lean into failure, um, in order to get that person listening to take the first leap?
And I would say just do it. Just take action. Stop thinking so much. Like if I sat here and thought about half the shit I did, I probably wouldn't do it. Like it doesn't always make logical sense. But at the end of the day, I'm so happy that I did. And I don't want to end this life sitting there thinking that I was second guessing everything or I didn't try this or I didn't try that because I didn't know if I could do it. Like who cares if you can do it or not? I mean, people will be amazed at what they're capable of, at what they could actually accomplish right now, regardless of whether they're quote unquote ready or not. I mean, I think it's just a willingness to take action and try it and don't overthink it.
I love it. I love it. So to wrap it up, what's the next thing that you're going to do that is something you've never done that is going to put you outside of your comfort zone?
It's a good question. Um, I don't know. I mean, I got a lot of little things on the board, like other Ironmans, maybe a full Ironman, maybe an ultra, long run. I mean, I haven't narrowed that down exactly, but I have a lot of things in mind.
I guess let's narrow it down at least maybe to this. We talked about like that uncomfortable situation. It's kind of, or being uncomfortable is like a muscle that needs to be flexed. What do you think is like the timeline as far as how often or how frequently you need to put yourself in those uncomfortable situations to continue to grow and evolve? Is it a daily thing? Is it a weekly thing? Is it a monthly thing? A
Oh, every
yearly?
day. I'd say like on a smaller basis, I would say every day, as often as possible. Like, I mean, I had a call today with my business coach, and I mean, I don't remember what exactly we were talking about, but I was like, okay, like how do I grow? How do I grow quicker on that aspect? Like, just get uncomfortable. Like, just do what you know you need to do, but you don't want to do. I'm like, man, like you're so right. It's so simple. Like, I mean, you're not going to grow doing what you know. I mean, if that makes any sense, but like, we only know what we know. And if we keep doing what we're doing, nothing's going to change. Like, for things to change, you have to change. And change isn't always, it's almost always uncomfortable. But it's also just like the cloudiness or oversight of what that uncomfort looks like. And it's usually like the cool thing about it is like it's usually not really that uncomfortable. It's just like for me at least, like I'll make something up in my mind, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that because of this. Then I'll actually get myself to take action and do that. I was like, wow, that was 100 times easier than I expected. But I mean, to answer your question more directly, I mean, I think it's definitely an everyday or as often as possible or whenever you get the opportunity thing. Whether if it's you're walking you're walking through Vegas and you see stairs or an escalator, like take the stairs. Like any little opportunity you have to do something slightly uncomfortable, like you will be happy you did it in the long run. Like Jeff Bezos still does that. Jeff Bezos still takes the stairs any opportunity he gets to.
I
But I
love it
mean, there's so much you can take from that and so much that you can learn from that. It's always teaching you.
for sure. Well, I love it. I think there's a lot of good value in here and little things that people can take away and hopefully implement into your life. I think the overall kind of theme throughout today's conversation was just you need to get uncomfortable and you need to fail. Failing isn't a bad thing. It's just learning. And if you can do those two things, I think on a daily basis, like you said, you can do something that you think is uncomfortable and you can do something that causes you to fail, which is essentially just learning. I know in a book that you had recommended, I read the Failing Forward by John C. Maxwell. He talks about like your quota for failure, like having a certain number of times per month or per week that you fail should be kind of part of your life or your business or whatever, because that means that you're driving the needle forward. So hope this inspired somebody to go out there, get a little bit uncomfortable, accomplish something they didn't think they could do. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for spending your Tuesday afternoon with us. I'm sure you're going to be back on dropping some more bombs and wisdom for the people in the future, but appreciate your time today. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. As always, stay lean, stay lethal, and keep chasing discomfort.